So I was having a bit of a reflection on what are the things that I've learned over the past 30 years and also around the concept of when I started my production company. I was reflecting on that time of who I was then to where I am now. Ever since I watched 13 Going on 30, I always wanted to be Jennifer Garner in that movie, in that high-powered job, doing her thing with her apartment, her partner, and I was like, yes, that's me. Wanted my own version of that in London. But as we know, life takes so many turns and twists and all the things, and landing back in Perth has shown me how much my life has changed, but for the better. I am a city girl through and through. So if you told me by 30 I would be back in Perth, I would be like, did we give up? Like, what happened there? Which is completely the opposite. And yeah, it's just quite interesting how life works out this way. And I'm very grateful that it has. But if you told me at the time when I started my production company, I'd be like, okay, no, something's gone terribly wrong. However, this could be like a whole Substack in itself. So I will definitely be doing that at some stage. I feel like these lessons will resonate you if you're a filmmaker, creator, storyteller, founder, all of those kind of things. As yes, this is what I learned whilst accidentally building a production company. You'll hit 30 and you genuinely don't care what people think and wonder why you cared so much in your 20s. This resonates with me so much because when I was 20 years old, I cared about what every Tom, Dick, and Harry cared about me. And I felt like I was almost like trying to be a chameleon, very much in I think of like my actor era where I wasn't comfortable being myself. So I just was who you ever wanted me to be. So it's very much like putting on these like masks, which wasn't truly authentic to who I was. And this didn't really quite land until this year where I was like, oh, I genuinely don't care what people think. And HARP Productions is a great example of this because I've felt for the last few years, I've wanted to do other stuff in media other than just filmmaking, producing a podcast, producing social media, that kind of thing. But for some reason, I always had this notion that as a filmmaker, like I'm almost like dumbing myself down or I'll look down upon if I do these things. Because I had a few people in my life at the time be like, oh, you shouldn't do a podcast because you're above that, which is ludicrous and it's not the case. So now I'm in a position where I'm genuinely excited about experimenting within HARP, testing different methods that feel exciting to me and just hope that they resonate with an audience. So yes, I'm very excited about that side of things. But yeah, this one didn't really land until this year where I was like, oh my goodness, no one actually cares what you're doing. At the end of the day, I feel like it was a form of perfectionism. Like I didn't want to tamper with HARP because I was like, oh, I've already built it in this way. But if I experiment, then it will change and like people will view it in a different way. And I was just creating all these stories and excuses in my head. And it wasn't until this year I was like, I actually just want to do this. I have been umming and ahhing about it for a couple of years, like really obsessing about the direction of the business. And I feel like this is the more authentic version of HARP, and I just have to learn that some people will resonate with it and some won't, and that's totally fine. Now I'm like, oh, I actually don't care because this is what I want to do. So very exciting. Are you doing something because it's what other people have told you to do, what you think other people would want you to do, and actually be like sitting with yourself and be like, what do I actually want in this scenario? And for me, at the end of the day, HARP means speaking my voice, speaking the audience's voice. For me to almost like suppress this side of HARP was actually counterintuitive to what I want the business to be. This is what I'm now harping on about. So there we go. Second thing is it's normal and okay for big visions to unfold slowly. So this is something that I grapple with. I am very impatient as a person. I am getting more patient as I get older, but I still am inherently impatient to get things moving. For me, when they say it takes about 3, 5, maybe 10 years to get a film off the ground, I'm like, how can I do this in 2? But in the actual reality of it is that it does take that amount of time, and it's okay if it takes this long. Like, you've got other things you can do in the meantime that also excites you while this other big dream unfolds slowly. This can be frustrating, but I always come back to the really cheesy saying that it's not about the destination and it's about the journey, which is so cheesy. Every time I reflect on a project or anything that I've done, specifically work-wise, I've loved the process of it. The outcomes, the awards, all of those kind of things are kind of, I don't know, just really, like, they're great and everything, but they're actually not the thing why you've actually executed. I mean, maybe it has been, but it's not in my case for sure. And actually, the process of it has been the funnest part. Finding this perfect production designer for this project, or this person that came on board was the correct person to do X, Y, and Z. I love that part of it. Things where you think it's like, oh, we don't have the budget for this, and actually, oh my God, it's actually turned out better than what we thought it would be. I love the whole process of it. I always say, once I have a film in the can, I love being in the room with my editor and just being in there, doing the thing. Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of the process. And we're just like in this little bubble, putting together the puzzle piece of the film. So that's one of my favorite parts. Controlling your inputs into something rather than looking at the outputs, because you can't control the outputs. You can't control if you're going to make X amount on this, or, you know, win this award, or people are going to resonate with the film. Like, who cares? Back to the first one. Doesn't matter what other people think. Like, just coming back to what is important to you. Storytelling is everything. Full stop. The more I get into helping brands and individuals, I just realize that storytelling is about everything. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It's always at the end about how you tell the story. And I love obsessing on this. Like, what is the best way for me to tell this certain brand? What is the best way to tell this person's wedding? Or what's the best way to tell about this certain target audience? Things like that. I love doing things like that. And it just shows how important storytelling is. Like, it could literally be the worst production value, but as long as you have value, you're telling the story in the right way, it resonates with someone. And yeah, I just think that's actually quite amazing that at the end of the day, everything is about storytelling. And I feel like no matter where you are in the world, like, storytelling has been told for the land before time, you know, like in the Stone Age where they would draw the things on the stone, to podcasts, to books. Storytelling is everywhere. For me, storytelling isn't just entertainment. It's actually how we make sense of the world. This is a bit of a long one, but essentially, community fuels growth. Collaboration and accountability keeps creativity alive. For me, community, I feel, is a really important quality to have, especially in today's day and age, because we're aware of it or not, we're becoming more isolated and less having a community feel. Like, say, for example, you can literally not leave your house for a whole day. You can get food delivered, you can get clothes online, like you can do everything through your phone and on the internet. And it's quite wild because there's people out there that don't interact with people and do that. And I think it's important to always, especially if you've moved country or moved to a new place, to get into these rooms, to get into these places and spaces where community thrives. Because at the end of the day, we're meant to be in a pack and be in like kind of a village type of scenario. And if we're not, then I don't know. I just like, well, what's the point? You know, it's really important to surround yourself with the right people, the ones who lift you up, who support you, who cheer you on, and to remove those people who are bitter, resentful, and bring you down or don't bring in, the best light in you. I think to slowly and gently remove those people out of your life. Yeah, those Debbie Downers, it's time to say goodbye. I also feel like it's really important to find community in areas you want to grow. So say, for example, an easy one is if you're wanting to have a happy marriage, is to surround yourself with people who are married or who have had a successful marriage and all those kind of things. And yeah, being able to surround yourself with those people you can see and have the expansion of this thing is possible for them, so therefore it's possible for me too. Say if you're wanting to own a business, surrounding yourself with business owners. I know there's definitely groups out there that do this. So yeah, I feel like there's literally communities for literally anything. Like I'm sure there's like I'm not a gamer, but like, you know, a gaming community for Mario Kart on just doing Rainbow Road over and over again. Like, I don't know. You'll find them. Build your foundations in order to take risks. This has been a real big learner for me in the last couple of years. I love taking risks. I love jumping onto new opportunities, trying out new things. YouTube for one of them, podcast, bit of both, Substack, all of these things. I love taking risk and seeing what potentially the outcome can be. I love, again, controlling the input, making sure I'm doing something every week, working towards X, Y, and Z to take risks on doing a podcast, for example. However, just because I could take risks in my 20s, like, you know, a massive risk for me was pursuing becoming an actor for like something silly like 8 years or something. And I was adamant. I was like, I'm going to be an actor and everything else doesn't matter. And this was amazing because now for me, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be able to have done that, because the inputs to what the outputs were, I would put endless and endless hours to become an actor, to do auditions, to do all the things, all the right things, X, Y, and Z. But the outcomes were like few and far between. Like even if I got a role in a film or a short film or anything, I've had a short film go AWOL where I've never actually seen what's gone on there. I've had my scenes cut out from the film where I literally throw a pizza that's like a frisbee. I'm like, that is so cool. Like I really wanted to just watch that scene because I literally perfectly landed it in front of camera. I still think about that scene. So I'm like, low-key, I'm just going to take it for one of my short films and do that. So watch this space. But yeah, coming back to it, creating a foundation. So I was like, okay, I need to have some sort of consistency where I'm not in a entry-level job. Because when I was an actor, I would nanny, I would waitress, and I just could not do it anymore. I was like, I'm so unmotivated to do these kinds of jobs because I'm not making an impact. Like, yeah, okay, maybe I'm making the kids' day better and stuff like that, but like, it just wasn't lighting me up. Coming back to Perth, one, being in a place that is very nurturing and is very health focused, firstly, was a sense of security for me. I came back and lived with my mum, which was another form of security, and also letting go a massive ego of like not like coming back and living with my mom was a huge like, oh, I can't believe I'm like 30 and living with my mom and stuff like that. Now I'm like, it's literally the best thing ever. Like, I don't care if anyone thinks, you know, X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm making a smart decision for where I'm at in life right now. And then I got a 9-to-5 working at a production company as a producer, gave me a sense of security. Also finding my partner gave me a sense of security. And having these things in place, I was like, oh, wait, amazing. I could take all these risks when I was in my 20s, but now coming into my 30s, I'll be 31 next year. I actually need this base level of foundation in order to take risk. Like, you know, keep going with HARP on while I have the full-time position and do the things on the side. How great, how wonderful. And if it takes off to be a business, great, how wonderful. If I need to stay in a 9-to-5 and just do it on the side, great, how wonderful. You know? So it's actually like creating a life where I'm actually really happy with it now, rather than always projecting of like, oh my God, when I'm a full-time actor, oh my God, when I'm this, and this. Doesn't matter. Find the good and the security things that you need in order to take these risks that you want to do. It's very important, I believe. And the final one that I'm very passionate about is never stop learning, then take action and share what you learn. I believe never, ever stop learning. It's so important. In school, I would absolutely excel in the things that I absolutely loved learning about. And I was abysmal in the things that I didn't like. For example, math. Hated you. I literally like swore to myself. I was like, I'll always use a calculator when I leave school. Bye-bye. We don't need any tan, cos, sin in the rest of my life. Anyway, stuff I just don't care about. But after I left school, I loved learning about business, about anything, literally anything. It's really important to keep your brain active and learning, reading new materials, exploring different subjects, topics, to expand your mind, vocabulary, and your perspective. However, I also see, I kind of coined this term, I don't know. I couldn't find it on Google, so I'm just going to say I coined it. But I always find there are these chronic learners where they stay in the loop of constantly learning. They get degree after degree. They buy course after course, and they never actually really input any of their learnings. And this I find is very problematic and where a lot of people go wrong. Honestly, it is one of my biggest fears to be that person that says, I'm going to start a podcast, and never actually starts a podcast. I would never actually say something until I actually have made the firm decision that I'm going to execute this. Like my F1 film, like my podcast, like my Substack. These are all things I said to people that I will do, and I've executed. And great that I've started this, like, woo, amazing. However, I also believe it is really important to give something a year minimum. Or give yourself a set goal. Like, say for me, for example, even if I get like literally 10 views on every single podcast, I don't care. I'm doing 52 podcast episodes to make 52 weeks of a year. That is my goal. And I'm going to execute on this goal because I control the inputs. I don't control the outputs. I don't care if it gets 10 views. I don't care if it gets 1 view. I am going to do this for me because I want to take action on this. And the second thing, I think it's really important to break down your teachings and your learnings and how to teach other people, essentially. Love mentoring. I love helping people, keeping people accountable. I love it so dearly. However, I wanted to try and do it in other formats like YouTube, like Substack, and actually really understand how to make things digestible and easy to understand, which I think is a whole skill in itself and has been really interesting in how I learn how to do the skill essentially. Yeah, this has been really fun, and I do believe it's very useful to find ways of how to be able to teach other people about the things you learn and what action you've taken on them, and then it's almost like a bit of a cycle, as I would say. I've never said that, but now I've said it, so yeah. This is a bit of the reflection I had when building my production company. I will talk about like how HARP came to be. I talk a little bit about it on my Substack, like where the name HARP came from, all those kind of things. But I really just wanted to reflect on the person that started HARP, which was about May of 2020. Yes, I think. To where I am now. So that's over 5 years. And I've changed dramatically as a person. So just wanted to share these inputs and how they might help you. None of them may help you. That is also fine. But I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you want to read more about this, go over on my Substack or check out my website, and hopefully we can work together in some way. And I really appreciate you for listening all the way through. So, okay. And goodbye.